In the Top 10s video today, we're going to be looking at the top 10 dumbest criminals. Number 10. Caught updating their Facebook status post-crime. Millions of us use Facebook, so it's only natural to assume that criminals would use it too. In fact, you've probably heard several stories of criminals who did things like leaving their Facebook logged in from inside the house they just robbed, or adding photos to a Facebook page of the person whose phone they just stole. But the crown goes to Mexican criminal Maxi Sopo, who continued to update his Facebook status after being accused of bank fraud. That's not stupid on its own. It's not like he had some former justice official on his friends list. Oh, wait, he totally did. Yeah, that guy deserves to be arrested. Number 9. Google Maps accidentally photographing your crime. Google Maps has made walking into Mordor way simpler than any of us ever thought possible. Its Street View function is probably their crowning achievement, accomplished by driving along every road in the world with huge cameras on top of their cars. Remember that as we tell you about this next story. 2 teenagers were caught and arrested for robbing another teenager of his bike and phone. Unluckily for them, they committed the crime at the exact same time the Google photo car drove past. It's not even like those things are subtle. Have you seen one before? Those teenagers may as well have just taken the bike and rode it straight to the police station. Number 8. Leaving a pizza behind. If you've ever seen Storage Wars, you know that storage units can be a treasure trove of human bric-a-brac. If you've never seen it before, watch a YouTube video about it right now, and don't worry about being told off at work. Just tell your boss you're watching Storage Wars, and then nod very slowly. He'll understand. However, one of the things about storage units is that things contained in them are normally quite heavy. Nothing sates the ache of bad back caused by stealing other people's heavy stuff quite like a pizza. Just remember though, if you plan on stealing something and then order a pizza, don't leave your address on the box. Cops can read, and they can use GPS. Number 7. Writing your name on the wall. Graffiti is an odd thing. Depending on how good you are at drawing, it can either be an awesome piece of art or a crudely drawn human phallus. Well, a phallus may not be pretty, but unless you draw your own, it's not going to get you caught. Something that will get you caught, though, is writing your name on the wall of the place you're currently in the middle of vandalizing. British teenager Peter Addison did exactly that, and with that kind of brain power, it's actually surprising he managed to write it in anything other than his own urine, let alone spell it correctly. Number 6. Your infamous cross-eyed stare. Back in 2011, Britain was struck by some of the worst violence and riots the country had ever seen. Fires and break-ins were reported up and down the country. One such fire, which caused over £1 million worth of damage, was started by one Andrew Burles. Police knew this because Mr. Burles had an incredibly distinctive gaze. He initially denied the crime, but he couldn't ignore the evidence that was staring him right in the face, as well as the face of the guy next to him. Well, at least Burles can keep one eye on his back, as he spends the next 8 years in jail. Number 5. Reporting something as stolen that was in your pocket. If you are robbed, you can always rest assured that the police will do everything in their power to return your stolen goods to you. Then we have those naughty people who report things stolen that actually aren't, perhaps in the hopes of getting another one for free, because we all know that insurance companies have infinite money and stuff they're just hiding from us. This exact ruse is what one South African tried with cops claiming his phone was robbed at gunpoint. However, the police, not being idiots, decided to ring the phone first, only to have the supposedly missing phone vibrate and ring right in front of them. Smooth. Number 4. Leaving footprints in the snow. The police aren't stupid. I've seen CSI, I know the things they're capable of. This is also exactly why I'll never install a blacklight in my bedroom. Sometimes though, the criminals don't really try that hard to get away, like the criminals who robbed a place immediately following a snowstorm. Catching the crook was a simple matter for the police, who followed a trail of footsteps to some tire tracks which led them to their man. This proves that Metal Gear Solid is awesome for teaching people how to avoid being caught. The obvious next step is for all criminals to carry oversized cardboard boxes. Number 3. Having too much swag. I've been told that swag is the art of being really cool, despite the fact I've always thought it stood for someone without a girlfriend. Regardless, this criminal has too much of it. So much so that he was immediately recognized for his fancy dance moves by his own mother. We can only hope his stay in prison gives him another reason to have an odd way of walking. Number 2. Because you tattooed the crime scene on your chest. Criminals are known for having tattoos, whether it be the classic teardrop showing you've killed a guy or a tramp stamp to show you've killed your parents' sense of respect for you. Anthony Garcia went one better than all of these and tattooed an entire crime scene on his chest, effectively turning his chest into the very piece of evidence that could convict him. Although it's well known that gang members will use tattoos to bolster their credentials, they're usually smart enough to use some sort of code. Note the term usually there, however. Number 1. Your crippling World of Warcraft addiction. World of Warcraft is apparently a great game. I wouldn't know, I prefer Tekken. One thing that proves how addictive it is, though, is the fact that there was a criminal caught purely because he wouldn't log off. Despite the fact that he'd already gotten away with his crime and was in an entirely new country, Alfred Hightower kept on raiding with his level 80 Tauren Shaman, eventually resulting in him being caught, presumably because he hadn't moved in 3 months while grinding up to that level. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I'd love to know what you think of it, so please leave a comment below. I'm also going to link over to another video that you might enjoy, so just click on that thumbnail on the screen now, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we put out a new video 7 days a week, and you can also visit us online. Just go to TopTenz.net. Thanks for watching.